I'm wearing an Eagles jersey. Please don't click away. I'm wearing an Eagles jersey. What that means is that for a very large portion of the year, somewhere around 22 weeks, which is 40% of the year, I spend one day of that week, the entire day, thinking about the Eagles. I am walking the dogs, but actually I'm thinking about the Eagles. I am eating breakfast, but actually I'm thinking about the Eagles. I am having a conversation with my loved ones, and I would never think about sports when I'm doing that, except when I do. I am watching the game, and then it's all Eagles time, right? After the game, I am trying to sleep, but I'm failing because I am thinking about the game that just happened and also the game that will be happening next week. And this isn't even just an Eagles thing. I wrote this a little bit before recording it, so it's a little more embarrassing to put this up here right now, but I wrote this right after the Sixers beat Celtics in Game 7, and my heart rate was above 100 beats per minute the entire game. Not so for the Knicks games. But why do I care so much about sports? Welcome to my channel. I do medium depth dives on questions that I think are interesting. If you have an interesting question, drop it in the comments. Also, I will intend to pin a comment that is pointing out a factual error that I make. So, let's take a broader view of things. Sports are big. Super Bowl is, at the time of writing this, 19 of the 20 most viewed televised events in American history are the Super Bowl. 19 out of 20. The one that is not the Super Bowl is the MASH finale. Fun fact. The World Cup is massive. The upcoming World Cup this year is expecting to make $13 billion of revenue. The Olympics are massive. The Paris Olympic Games reported 5 billion viewers, or 5 billion views. Stadiums, sports stadiums are massive. The Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, are from Pennsylvania. The largest sports stadium in Pennsylvania is not the Eagles, it's actually Beaver Stadium, where the Penn State plays. Beaver Stadium has more seats than there are people in all but 3 cities in Pennsylvania. Philly has too many people to fit in Beaver Stadium. Pittsburgh has too many people to fit in Beaver Stadium. And Allentown has too many people to fit in Beaver Stadium. That's it. Not Reading, not Erie, not Bethlehem, not the state capital, Harrisburg. None of them. Sports have impact. Sports make an insane amount of money globally. The source I have in the description says that sports worldwide makes over $2 trillion a year. Sports make money locally. If a local team goes on a deep playoff run, they make money for that city. The source I found says that the Phillies made millions of dollars for Philadelphia when they went on a playoff run. I think it was 2022. Sports even cause measurable population bumps. Does anyone else remember this commercial? This Super Bowl commercial where all the kids from the Super Bowl babies were singing in a choir because whenever a team wins the Super Bowl, if you go to that city, 9 months later, there's a spike in births. Do you remember that commercial? Well, it's not actually true, but it's popular enough that I remember that commercial. A number of you probably remember that commercial, and it got popular enough that someone wrote an article busting the myth. So, again, why? Why is sports this big? Because here's a big block of text why it shouldn't be this big. To be a negative Nelly, a reductionist, I would say that sports, professional sports, is largely people who are paid probably too well to play a ball game with a bunch of arbitrary rules. and that's kind of it. And these rules are arbitrary, right? Like, if you watch any NBA game and then you go online afterwards, you'll see people complaining about the refs because the refs had to make judgment calls on arbitrary things, and that was bullshit, right? And that's why my team lost. If you watch the NFL regularly, you'll know that there's a term that when someone tries to catch the ball, they have to make a football move. And no one knows what a football move is, because that's just the rule, right? But I care about this. And my life is not materially affected at all by who wins these games. However, I am emotionally invested. And my life is not materially impacted by who wins these few sets of games, but I am very emotionally affected and invested. And actually, I've tried to care less a few times. I've put in effort to care less a few times, and my sleep is still destroyed every time the Eagles play a game after 4 o'clock. Again, back to the question, why do I care so much? Well, I have some ideas. First, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe. Back to my ideas. First one is the idea that sports are a soap opera. There's so much drama in every sport all the time, and it's great. It's amazing. You wonder, why is A.J. Brown reading a book on the sideline? You see Tyrese Halliburton hit the choker, and you know what the reference is, and you think you know what he's saying, right? You see two rival teams go at it, and you know that there's history, and you know why they hate each other, and you know how long they've hated each other, and you see that intensity, and that's just good drama. It's just good drama. And there's so much stuff going on and off the field, that it's a 24-hour news cycle, right? SportsCenter, ESPN. ESPN is a news network entirely in itself only about sports, and it runs 24/7. Like, that's kind of crazy, actually, that exists, that just runs all the time, because that's how much is happening in sports. There's so much happening in sports that if I wanted to only care about sports as my only hobby, I could, and it would fill my time. Also, sports are something that are passed down generationally. I think this is something that a lot of people would think about. I like the Eagles because my mom likes the Eagles. I like the Phillies because my grandpa really likes the Phillies. I like the Sixers because I am cursed, I guess. But generationally, this is something that I can share with my loved ones and, form bonds through that. And through that, even with strangers, I can have easy conversations with people. If I see a guy in Eagles gear, I can say, nice hat, and then we're friends. And that's the full thing of it. If I come into work on Monday, we can talk about the game with my coworkers, and it's easy. It's just one more topic in the rotation of easy conversations. And that's nice. Now, there is actual research done. This guy's name is Daniel Wan. He is, as far as I can tell, the most prolific researcher into sports fandom psychology. And I'll be referencing mostly his work from here on out. He has some ideas, of which I've pulled out a few. So one is escapism. All the time that I spend thinking about sports, I don't spend thinking about anything else. And you know what anything else is, right? People like escapism because sometimes things suck and escaping is nice. And sports offers a 24/7 news cycle with lots of drama where you can escape to. Another thing is the aesthetics. This is the dagger, the Devontae dagger, and I think it's very nice to look at. Not only because it was a very happy moment, but also because I think it just looks good. The way the ball flies through the air, the way that the defender has his arm in where Devontae Smith is trying to catch it, but he still brings it down. If you look at it from a different angle, you can see how hard Kansas City linebackers are trying to kill the run, but only to realize it's too late and try to backpedal, but it's way, way too late. Sports can just look good. To reference Tyrese Halliburton again, on the Knicks again, his buzzer beaters in last year's playoff run were insane. The crazy dribbling, running around a circle, step back for the longest two in the world, to hit the rim, It bounces in the air, it hangs in the air for an eternity, and then swish. And the basketball net swish is just a really aesthetic sound, right? So there is the fact that people really like the way sports can look. And the biggest one, best for last, is a feeling of community and belongingness. This is along with the easy conversations. If I find someone who likes a team I like, I can make a friend of them. And we are linked, I guess. Very easily, we can find common ground. Even if I find someone who likes a sport I like, but doesn't like a team I like, we can still have a connection based on that sport. We can find common ground, even if we're not fans of the same team. Maybe we both hate the same team, or maybe we both like some up-and-coming underdog, right? But there's a community there. And that's just, kind of what everybody really wants the whole time. So, yeah, that's kind of the main point. If you're interested in learning more, this is this podcast, Psychology of Sports Fans, Daniel Wan. In the description, he goes over a lot of this and more interesting stuff. I'd highly recommend it. But that's going to be the entirety of the video. Thanks.